Folks, welcome to part two of the Walker Seam charting breakdown. He's about to walk you through the rest of his trading week and at the end of it, tell you how much he made. It's an absolute masterclass on trading the 1 minute chart. And if you want to see part one, there's a link below this video that you can go and check out now or a bit later. But before we dive in, let's hear how I got on with my Blue Guardian challenge over the past week. All right, folks, before we get into the show, I want to give you a quick update on my Blue Guardian challenge. So 23 trades in is where we started the week. I had some moderate sort of growth here, then some dips. We actually dipped down below the initial starting balance for the week, and then by the end of the week I managed to pull back a few trades here. We did end the week positive. It was minus 2.4 up from minus 2.5. If you folks do want to take your own Blue Guardian challenge, there's a link in the description. Go and click it now, grab the coupon code TradingNut, all one word, and you're going to get 10% off at checkout. All right, let's get back on with the show.
Okay, so what's happening here? This looks like it could be inviting in some early sellers, and most likely it will be a trap. So we see that price is coming into that supply zone. It's giving a reaction, but it's unlikely to sustain. And there we go. Those stop losses get taken. And then this is interesting to see when we see that in our time box, we had buildup of liquidity, inducement here, but also inducement of that level of that structure point. So when I'm pairing all of that up, the reason I didn't take this trade, it was a news event, and I'm not too keen. Inducement high. So we've had an inducement high of a structure point and build up, inducement, and strong follow through. News hits, so price quickly took off. But if we read into it, what do we have? This is not random price action. If you remember the two-leg protocol I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have price coming up like this. We have the inducement right here. We have the inducement right here. Then price gives a bearish reaction. That's nothing. Then it fails to make a higher high. This area fails to make a higher high. And then goes on to make an internal lower low. So now I know that this area can be somewhere we sell off. Just like in the previous example that I showed, this becomes a valid sell to then be selling off. And that's exactly what happened. This area failed to make a high, made an internal lower low, and then we came to that order block. And that could have been an entry. If it wasn't for news, I probably would have taken it. I don't explain why I would have taken it. So stop loss, is it within our acceptable range? Yes, 3 to 7 pips is our range. This is perfect. Now, what is the checklist? We have structural inducement, checklist number 1. Early sellers. So they're getting tricked out. So we're getting manipulation of structure point and early sellers. We're getting inducement in our time window, the gray box, and then we get an entry model, and we have targets to at least here. So if we target at least that point, does it meet our minimum requirement of a 1 to 10? Okay, so 1 to 7. So that already is like, okay, it's not ideal, but is this a final target? No, because we still have this demand area that we drew out. So price could go all the way down here. So if price goes all the way down here, is it worth it for me? Yes. Now it's a 1 to 11. So it meets all my basic requirements. I'm also have profit from yesterday, 13% up. So I can afford a 1% risk, no problem. But it was just the news event that did deter me. Because you get spikes. And I just don't want to be too involved in that. But let's just see if our analysis plays out, even if I didn't take the trade myself. Okay, so what's it doing? Price is coming to that first area that I thought, okay, maybe we get some form of reversal. And let's see if it sustains there. And it looks like we are getting now, it fails to make a lower low, goes on to make an internal high. We might be getting a bullish reaction from here. Yep, looks like it was bullish. It's London close now, so there's nothing for me anyway. That purple dotted line is London close. But let's just see. Yep, it looks like it's going to slowly trend, consolidate. Okay, well, now this looks like it's going to consolidate through Asia. So now I can frame my next day. So let's actually see what the next day does. So just for transparency or whatever, I didn't take the trade for the reasons I said, even though it was valid. It had a lot of reasons for, but it wasn't valid enough for me. So let's now let Asia range play as we go into the next day, which is Wednesday. So our Asia range plays. So actually the analysis that I had has come down to that box. So it would have met the final target, but it wasn't valid enough for me. But again, it just goes to show I'm happy to walk away from a potential 1 to 10 risk reward because I have doubt. Because as you've seen, we're on the third day of price action. We're on Wednesday. I've already taken 2 trades and I've already shown 3 other potential setups that I've walked away from. Meaning to say, there is an abundance of opportunity in the market every single day on one currency pair, let alone if I was to do 10. So it's the reality is, it's not like there's not opportunity and we have to, convince ourselves to take one or not take one. There's an abundance. We pick the best ones. So when you have that frame of there's a trade right around the corner, there's a trade tomorrow, no worries. We're playing risk reward and win rate. Trade frequency is a given. So then we just pick our best setups that are high win rates, because when we pick that setup, we know it will be a good risk reward. That's all our job is. So when we let Asia range play, let's see what happens. So I'm just going to wait for Frankfurt open right here, and then we do our read. So now it's come to that demand area, but that's not a preferred demand area because it's in the middle of a push. It's the middle of that push. The real demand area is actually down here. That's the origination point of the move. So when I see the origination point of the move of the demand, and I look up and say, okay, where's the supply zone? So we've taken out that supply zone. So that could be a potential inducement. But where are we if I'm to look left? So let's actually look left and see where is our nearest supply zone. Oh, it could be that. Could be that one that I mentioned from the beginning of the week. The inducement high that led to the whole sell-off. Oh, price has come to there. Okay, so the thing that I was looking for from Monday, we've finally arrived to it. We've done a manipulation and we've had a seller's reaction. Okay, interesting. So now I have my 2 frames. I have the supply zone high and the demand zone down here. So these are my 2 frameworks and I'm in the middle. I'm not close to the supply. I'm not close to demand. When it's a day like this, caution, because we're not in a preferred area from a higher time frame. So all we can really do is play a daily cycle. All we can do is play M1 because higher time frame is not giving us anything. So if I'm to take a trade, I want to see nice things. So let's see our framework for the day. Our Asia range is our first reference. What is Asia range showing us? So first of all, Asia range tapped into my demand. So that's something to note. When it tapped into my demand, it gave a bullish push out, failed to make a low, and it's respecting that area. So I need to say, okay, that's interesting. Price is respecting my demand. Even if it's in Asia, doesn't matter. It's still respecting. And I need to say, is there any inducements or anything interesting in here for me? Well, yes, there is. We have this small trend line building. We get that inducement into my demand and then a bullish push out, mitigation, flies. So I know that right now, this is the inducement to play off for now, and it's led to a reaction. So I know buyers are in control right now. Now let's look left. Well, first thing to note is there's liquidity here. That got taken out. Interesting to know. When I look over here, I think, oh, wow, okay, what's this? We've been talking about it all day now. Equal highs, run of liquidity. Smart money traders are loving that. Now, most likely that's a smart money trap because it's at Asia high and it's fighting the inducement here. So I'm not going to be selling that, but I know smart money traders will be. Smart money trader reaction here, they're jumping in. And actually, it's funny. Now that I see it, I'm so glad I said at the beginning. Remember when I said, I take it personal when I say don't take that as a sell. That's not a sell. That's not a break of structure or anything. Smart money zone. Where is it? Smart money trader zone right there. The reason it's a smart money zone is because we have that equal high, run of liquidity, bearish reaction. But what I'm seeing is inducement of the most relevant inducement is a bullish one. So we're fighting the inducement. We also have Asia high liquidity right here, and we have a supply zone right above. So when price comes into my SMC zone and I see that pattern that I hate, just a reaction, SMC traders for a fact, because they're seeing Frankfurt open, they're ready for the day. I'm not saying every SMC trader, not every ICT trader. I'm not saying anything like that. But I know that the newcomer, the rookie SMC trader, for sure is taking a loss here. Because when I was a rookie SMC trader, I was taking a loss. I've had hundreds of members in my program when I used to have a 1,000-person Discord and all of that. And they were all SMC traders. They all used to take losses here before I started to give them direction. So this is a very clear manipulation. So when I see that manipulation, that's added into my checklist now. Okay, I've seen an SMC trap. Perfect. So now I'm seeing another positive, and now price is coming into this supply zone. So we've had this run of liquidity over here, an inducement that led to that push down, takes out that trend line, leads to that push down. But my problem is it's coming into demand. Remember, that's my invalidation criteria. And I'm saying price tap into demand, and then the second demand with the manipulation. Right now, I'm more bullish than anything, but I'm building a thesis. I'm building a thesis of manipulation number one of the SMC trap. If I get a manipulation of this too, oh, now I can build something. So I just want to see, am I going to get any sellers ideas? Is there anything going to play for me? Okay, so what am I seeing now? I'm seeing price has done the first SMC trap, gave them a reaction, induced them out. Now price has come to that second supply zone and is giving a bearish reaction. I want to see, okay, is there anything for me? Price now has given that BOS. I'm going to call it a fake BOS, and I'll explain why in a sec. Okay, so now it's approaching my London window. So I want to be seeing, interesting, is this anything for me? And let's actually jump into my Twitter and see what I was doing that day. January 25th. What date are we on? January 25th. Yep. Okay, so January 25th, how did I talk about price that day? GPUSD, yeah, it looks like I gave a sell. Okay, so what I've talked about here is I saw the SMC trap, I saw the fake reaction, the fake break of structure, and then I see price induce. And then on the minute, London open, my dotted line, price has now started to give this two-leg protocol. So let's actually talk about exactly what I was seeing. So price comes in, induces that out. So induces that SMC zone. So I know that I've had rate manipulations. I've had first zone and second zone taken out. I'm approaching my key time window. And right now I can say that's the buyer's inducement, just like we had below. So we've got inducement number one, inducement number two. For now, buyers are in control and they're building traps for the sellers. So I want to be careful if I sell. So when I see my time window and I've taken manipulations, I want to see now, is there a follow through? So right now, that, as I mentioned, is my pet peeve. I'm not selling it like that. I want to see confirmation. So when I see that this area fails to make a higher high, goes on to make a bearish reaction, goes to give a follow through. Now I've seen internal low, internal lower high, internal lower low. So I'm seeing bearish reaction after my manipulations, following on from my key time window. So now I'm building a thesis. Now I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting for me. Problem is, it's met my invalidation. So now I'm like, oh, damn, I wanted to, it looks good, but it's met my invalidation. So I want to carry on and see, is there still anything for me? Price climbs up. So we're slowly trending back. Okay, what am I seeing now? Okay, so I've seen build up, inducement, push out. So I've seen, okay, the buyers were still in control, but then I've seen build up and structure point over here, inducements. So I think, okay, maybe the sellers are coming in and maybe they're doing an inducement. And that's probably what I'm referring to here. Yeah. I'm saying, okay, I'm seeing a bell, I'm seeing the switch and potentially there's something here for me. So I want to see if there's anything there. Okay, I don't want to see, is there anything for me? So right now I took this trade and it's not ideal because as I mentioned to you all day long, there is that invalidation criteria, especially because we've had that inducement there and an invalidation criteria. Why have I taken that sell? So the reason being is if I look at EU and analyze the equivalent price action, let's actually skip ahead to the same day. This is Thursday. Let's skip to Thursday. Okay. I want to see what EU is doing at the same time. So right now we are at 9:39 UK time. Okay, I'm 1 day behind. Let's go to 9:39 UK time on EU, same day, same time, and see what's happening. Okay. 9:39. So we're not there just yet. But again, same thing's happening. Just like EU did an inducement low. Sorry, GU did an inducement low. So did EU. That's the equivalent inducement. So then I want to see what's happening when I get to my equivalent time, 9:39. So we're approaching it. What time is it? 9:30. Let's give it a few more candles. Okay. 9:41. So we've just passed it, but let's just read what's happening. When I see over here, we're getting high in the market, invalidation, but then this area fails to make a high, goes on to make a lower low. And then I can say, okay, over here, we've had a break of structure. Over here, we've had an invalidation. So I'm like, okay, well, one is confirmed and one hasn't. This one I was more happy about. I don't remember exactly why. Let me actually check Twitter why I gave a signal as I did. Okay. Okay, so I've seen that inducement and I've given that signal over here. Why have I given it? Let me just remind myself. Cover the highs to be more conservative. Smart money trap. Okay, so we're talking about the trap that I saw, the age high liquidity that I mentioned, and we're getting the entry crowds and then the divergence with EU. Okay, so the reason I entered was divergence with EU. So what do I mean by that?
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at BLACKBULL Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at BLACKBULL Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at BLACKBULL Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below.
Okay, it's this. When I see on GU, I'm seeing price is not respecting that high. Okay, we're getting an inducement on here at what time? 9:23. But at 9:23, what am I getting here on EU? So let's actually draw some vertical lines so you can see exactly. 9:23 on GU, inducement. Same time, same minute, 9:23 on EU. What am I seeing? Price is respecting. So when I see one is respecting, like so, when I see one is respecting, but one is inducing, the one that inducing tells me that this is a fake out. This is a fake move because on EU is respecting. So therefore, for me, this confirmed to me this might be an inducement. So even though I had my invalidation, I confirmed it by looking at the same time on EU. So it's a bit more advanced, but that's the reason I justified the signal. And then it's tapped in, my break-even points and my first target being here. So let's see how it played. So price now break even. And price slowly climbs down and then misses my break even by a pip, and then I'm break even. So crap, I didn't get my partial, and in the end it's a break even trade, and that's probably what I tracked on my Twitter. So I gave the entry, showed my MT4, and then I mentioned, okay, now we break even. So yeah, break even position, and I'm showing I've broken even. My stop loss has now moved from the high to my break even. And then I follow through, and I say break even on to the next. Signal 33 in the books was a break even trade, and that is that. But actually, at the beginning of the day, I did mention I want price to give a reaction from here. So it was good to know I had some reaction. But let's see what exactly happened. So I've given a signal, it's hit break even, so be it. But let's now analyze why did it hit break even. So when we read into it, we say, okay, let's jump back into just full screen on GU. Now we have to just debrief our situation. We took a break even. Why? So we had inducement number one in a demand zone that I mentioned. So the demand zone mitigation, push out, inducement. So this was the first inducement that we were looking at. Second inducement we were looking at. What has price done? It's come and mitigated that demand area. That was in the inducement number two. Then we have a new demand area that obviously comes from it. So price has now come into that second demand area. And we can also just see that there was a trend line build up over here. We had first touch, second touch, third touch, and then price does an inducement into that demand. So I can essentially say that the reason I hit break even was because price is following those inducements that I was probably trying to fight. So we've had three bullish inducements, 1, 2, 3. So the buyers prevailed, even though I saw a bearish sign and a bearish inducement. Now, does that mean that this seller's inducement was fake? No. An inducement is a run of liquidity. It's to grab some fuel. It's to grab something to move price action. We grab some fuel. We fuel the move lower, and then maybe that's done. Maybe we ran out of fuel. We grab some liquidity for the buyers, and now we have new fuel to come higher. So it's not a case that this was wrong. It was more a case of it served its purpose. This liquidity grab served its purpose to come lower. Then we had a new liquidity grab, and we've come higher. So then we just continue through from that. Now let's continue on and see what is the next play for the day. Now I'm just going to say something here. I want to see if price action arrives there. And then we have this main supply zone that I want the price to come to. So it looks like we're going to be bullish for the rest of the session. So let's see where price takes us. I want to see if we get into this supply zone, if there's anything for us. Okay, it looks like price is giving a bearish reaction. I want to jump in and see what's going on. It didn't come to my supply zone, but it's coming to that demand area. We're seeing now we are getting an inducement of that point. So maybe that's new fuel to come lower. And I'm thinking more now, we're getting this trend line. This could now attack that. We can now get a run of liquidity. respecting for now. It can respect multiple times, but eventually it will run out. Eventually those buyers will be exhausted and it will become liquidity. I don't know if it's going to be now or later on, but eventually they do get taken out. And maybe now, yeah. Okay, so we saw the liquidity build up. Now we've seen that trend line that was forming. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touches of a trend line has now been taken out after we've come to that small supply area. I'm not going to trade it. I'm just giving you a market commentary. That small supply zone, price respected. And what did it do in that supply zone? Oh, surprise, surprise. Build up, inducement, fuel grabbed to come lower. So now we can see the buyers were in control, but now the new control is sellers inducement. Sellers inducement. We are targeting that trend line liquidity. And now we're just we just started to attack it. We've grabbed that liquidity now and we're just going for it all. Now we're coming to my New York Open. I want to see if there's an idea for me now. New York Open, I'm seeing, okay, interesting. Build up. So because I've taken that trend line liquidity and I've seen that inducement and then I've seen a mitigation over here and then I've seen a strong reaction, I'm thinking we could be bullish. There might be a buy opportunity for me in my window. I want to be observant of what's happening in this inducement candle. I want to see if there's anything there. But for now, I'm more framed towards buys. That's what I'm feeling right now. Price is respecting. Oh, and then we shoot out. Now we've come up and we've grabbed liquidity. So now I'm thinking, okay, change bias. We've had build-up of liquidity. This could be an inducement and we've tapped into our supply. So look how quickly our bias can change based on new information. We went from potentially looking for buys to seeing, oh, sellers are in control. Let's relax. Let's not look for buys. And let's see, that's the new inducement. So the inducement becomes a roadmap for us. Super important. More important than SMC. More important than support and resistance. More important than market structure. More important than anything. Liquidity is the fuel of the market. And as I mentioned in the podcast, we can have all of these correlated factors, which can help, but we should look at what's causing the market to move. Causation is better than correlation. Looking at primary drivers, looking at first principles, and that has to be liquidity. And just in 3 days of price action, hopefully I've opened people's eyes to show you it is the only way to trade because it's the reality. And market structure has been telling me this, that, whatever. Market structure tells me things, sure, and it's a guide, but it's not always the truth. Whereas this hasn't failed us yet. Even if we've taken a loss, when we take the loss, we look back and say, oh, we took the loss because of the inducement. And that's where we took it. We took a calculated risk. And we looked over that inducement, but that's the reason it was a loss. Okay, now I've seen an inducement high tapping into supply. This now all became a liquidity thing. That became a smart money trap because it was a build up, run of liquidity, bearish break of structure, smart money reaction, inducement. Smart money trap, inducement, and supply zone right in our New York Open in the first 30 minutes. And then we're getting a reaction over here. Now, this is the M1 time frame. So I'm not trading such a large stop loss, but this is not unfamiliar price action. We've got build up, inducement, and then bearish break of structure. So it's given me the normal thing I like to see, inducement, bearish break of structure, and then I would sell it. That's the normal thing I've taken, that's what I always take. But over here, we've got the same thing. We've got build up, inducement, mitigation. But the problem is too large of a stop loss. This is M1. So even on M1, it's too large. It's above my 3 to 7 pips. So for me, it's not worth it. And if I'm to jump onto the 30 second, if it's going to allow me, yeah, it's allowed me. We can see, okay, this is exactly what's happened. We've had build up, inducement, bearish break of structure, and then mitigation, follow through. So it's followed the same laws of the market. It just didn't fit my criteria to take the trade. But I can suspect now price is probably going to have a bit of a bearish reaction. So let's see what happens. And there we go. Oh, okay, price has come all the way back. What's going on here? Oh, we had a huge bearish reaction. Where have we gone to? Well, we've grabbed Asia low liquidity. We've grabbed that demand area that I mentioned. So price has basically come and grabbed all of this liquidity. And where has it come to? Let's actually pin the low in the market. So just for curiosity's sake, where did price go to? There. We look left. Price has gone to... Oops. Price has gone to where? Oh, okay. How interesting. The market is not random. It's gone to that manipulation candle that I mentioned previously. Build up, inducement. So it's gone back for something. Not something I would trade. Not something for me. but at least we can understand it. There's always a reason to understand. So as I mentioned, you can be an analyst, have ideas, see what's going on. Trading it is another thing. So we're just being an analyst right now. Let's extend this out. Okay, let's go back to original price action now and see what's going on. So price has come in, tapped into that demand area and given a strong bullish reaction. So when I see a manipulation like this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to chill out. I just want to see, I'm going to let price breathe and see what it's going to do. But it's come back for this inducement area. So I'm thinking, oh, it's respecting that, but I'm not in a position to just jump into a trade because I'm seeing movements. I just want to monitor and see what's going on. Okay, so this is interesting price action. We're coming into that area. That was previously a ceiling in price. It was a manipulation zone. And what are we seeing? We're seeing, looks like a inducement right here. I want to see if it's going to follow through and give a reaction. Okay, so we've seen bearish break of structure now. We've taken out this area. So I'm thinking, okay, this could be something for me. And the something for me would be on the IFC or order block, if you want to call it, with the imbalance. So my idea would be here, stop loss at the high. 9 pips, not for me. My qualification is 3 to 7. If it's outside of that, it's not for me. So even though we have a lot of things in our favor and the time window right ahead, off the bat, it's not for me. But it looks like it's respecting. Oh, okay. It didn't invalidate my theoretical stop loss. That's where I would want price to end. But let's see what's going on. But look where that manipulation happened. Not random. On the minute, we got a manipulation. So this is like the 5th example of a time-based manipulation. Trend line. On the minute inducement, respecting that area, which is respecting that area. So everything's connecting. Now let's see if there's a follow-through. Looks like there is. Perfect stuff. Oh, once again, inducement to mitigate that. Same laws of the market. Mitigation. So the sellers are in control. It's just none of these are valid for me. I have multiple entry criterias, and I have like 10 entry models. None of these are valid for me. So I just walk away from the trade and say, okay, wasn't my day. So I didn't give a signal, didn't take a trade, but at least I didn't take a loss. Okay, and then that's the end of my window. So for me, the end of the day. What day was this? This was Thursday. Well, we might as well wrap up Friday if you want, Cam.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So let's let Asia range play for Friday or Thursday evening, and then let's see what happens on Friday. Okay, so we're just running to the evening. Asia range. Oh, crap. Okay, went way too quick. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to our Frankfurt Open, and let's do the same thing we do every day. Let's look where we are. Okay, we have this demand area over here. We have our main demand area over here. These are the things I've already mentioned from the previous day's analysis. And then supply zone at the top, and then this potential area. So let's jump in and see. Let's get nitty gritty. Let's get into the details. So right now, my most relevant supply zone is here. This area led to a push down. If you can see it clearly, this area led to a push down. And what I like about it is we had a small manipulation mitigating that supply. The one that I mentioned, well, it's connected to the chain of yesterday with another inducement there. So I'm seeing it's a nice price action inside it that led to this low. So I'm like, okay, that's good. Price has made that low pre-Asia. Price has started to climb. We can get rid of a lot of this stuff. Okay, whatever, it's not wanting to. Okay, so when I then come to my Asia range and I see what's going on, I'm seeing build up of liquidity, run of liquidity. Smart money traders love that. So smart money trap I've identified, trend line liquidity for early sellers, and supply zone right above, the supply zone that I just highlighted for you. And the supply zone I like because it's got small inducements in there and it led to a BOS. So right now I'm seeing nice price action to be selling from if price comes to this area. But Frankfurt Open looks like it's going to be at the low. So I need to read, okay, well, what's the low side scenario? We have this clear support level. Price is just building up liquidity here upon my Asia low. So I'm waiting for that to get manipulated. And then I want to see what's going to happen at this point because there's a demand area right below. So that's what I'm going to frame myself for. So I can basically say if price goes lower and starts to do the manipulations, the entry models, the same things that I've spoke about, if it does that, I have nice targets. I have this trend line to target, and I have this smart money trap to target, and I have this supply zone to target, and maybe sell during New York. So that could be now a framework for me where, so one of my daily cycle variants, if I'm to draw it, it's Asia range, and then where's the polyline? So we have our Asia range. Price then comes during my Frankfurt, takes some form of liquidity on the left, whatever that liquidity is, gives an entry model, and then targets the trend line first, targets the smart money trap second, targets Asia high, and then New York window comes, and then we go for a sell-off. That could be one of our variants. And then if I draw out the Zoom things popped up. There we go. And then so we can say that's one demand area. Demand. And then we have supply, like so. And then all I want to basically have is my time windows. So this would be my London, and this would be my New York. So this is one of my daily cycle variants. Again, every single day, the common daily cycle variants, I've mapped them all out. They're predefined. And then I have trade models associated with my daily cycles. So if I can see Asia low and manipulation into a demand, and it's my London window, I will buy. And then when it comes to that supply zone, if I get the relevant traps I need and the manipulations, and I get time window and supply, I will sell in New York. Another variation is price does a bit of a sell-off, comes into a demand area, like so. Demand, and then this becomes a liquidity thing. And then I can also get a continuation, like so. So that's another daily cycle variance. And on certain occasions, that can be in my time window. Not always, but sometimes. So if I get my New York look like this, then I'll continuation, I'll look to buy. If my New York is like this, then I'll look to sell. So it just depends which day it is. So it's all predefined, but we're prepared for any one of them. So then let's just see on this day what's happening. So let's start off with Frankfurt Open. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So first things first, we shoot for all of these equal lows, all of that liquidity and Asia low. So I'm thinking, okay, great. I'm already starting off strong. I might get a manipulation pretty early. I won't trade it because I have my time window, but I just want to see. Okay, so price is building up. Okay. So right now I'm going to call this a smart money trap. I'll explain why. Even though we've had an inducement, we have our invalidation, which is coming to that tiny supply, but it's an invalidation. So even though we've had that two-leg protocol that I've given a couple of examples of, I'm not taking this trade because first of all, it's not my time window. And second of all, we've had an invalidation, but I know smart money traders are going to be loading up over here. They're going to be loading up on buys. Okay, and smart money traders are getting their reaction. Market invites them in and swiftly takes them out. Not yet. There we go. And takes them out. So smart money traders, early buyers taken out. And if we just read into it, what happened here? What's gone on here? So price has come into the supply zone first, then it's done a small inducement. That inducement didn't fuel enough. The zone respected. So the market has decided, okay, this trend line that we built here, grab some fuel to push higher, to then grab enough liquidity to then take down this low that it wasn't able to capture yet. Grabbed the liquidity and then went for the low. So that was the Frankfurt manipulation. So it was a bearish one, not for me to trade, but I can see who's in control. Right now, the sellers are in control. Let's now get closer to our time window. And I see, okay, price is now coming towards, it's grabbed liquidity. What is it grab liquidity of? Oh, structure point. Perfect. So I've had smart money trap, structure liquidity, and now price is coming to my demand area. Amazing stuff. So, I just pressed the wrong button. Okay, hold on. I just reset everything.
Edit this stuff out.
Okay, let's go back to exactly where we were. Friday. Okay, so price has, I went too far. So we're right here. Okay, so price has now done a run of liquidity of that structure point, and we've tapped into that demand. So I'm liking this. And I want to see an entry model. So this is when I came to Twitter and said, I might have a trade idea. I might have a signal. Let's talk about it. It's on Friday, it's this day. Okay. So let's start at the beginning of the day. GBP USD buy signal. Here we go. So GBP USD buy signal, reasons the breakdown are tagged. Let's actually go into the tag post. So it's not a signal yet. So I first started off with exactly where I am. At this point in price action, I'm thinking, okay, I might have an idea. Let's give that idea for now, but it's not a signal yet. But this is my trade bias for London Open, just awaiting an entry protocol. So just what I've said to you. Premise being, we've had a smart money trap, which I just showed you, of the equal lows and Asia low. So reason number one, false demand inducement, meaning that run of liquidity was a false demand. It's a false structure point. We've had price induce that liquidity. So I'm seeing false demand and smart money trap. Reason 1 and 2, price in a POI for London Open. Are we in a POI? Yes, we're in that demand area I've mentioned. And trendline liquidity and SMC trap, fair value gap, all to target above. So remember that trendline, smart money trap, and supply zone, all targets above. So this is reasons for me to enter. I've taken a screenshot here. You can see it's live time. You can also see when I uploaded it, 11:44 Dubai time. It's all ahead of time. And I've said these are my variations: the green roadmap, the blue roadmap, the purple roadmap. If I get an entry criteria on my London Open, the gray box, and any one of these roadmaps, I will give a signal. So that's what I've prepared everyone for the day. And then a few moments later, what time is this? 12:06. So shortly after, I've basically said the reasons of the roadmap I mentioned previously, we were just waiting. We were just awaiting an entry criteria. It's not fully confirmed yet, but if GU comes to my invalidation box, there is no trade. So I mentioned the invalidation box over here. If it comes to there, I'm not taking the trade. And if EU doesn't give a bullish BOS, no trade. So I'm mentioning the reasons not to take the trade, but London volatility is right around the corner. We're on our London Open. So this is my entry. So then I mentioned we've done an inducement and then we're just waiting that 2-leg protocol that I mentioned. If I get that 2-leg protocol, I will buy so long as it doesn't come to my invalidation. So I've given the signal now. And I've also said, there's my limits ready to go. And everything's locked and loaded. And by the way, you see the time of the signal, you see the buy limit, you see the entry, you see the stop loss, everything there. So I'm personally ready to go. Now let's discuss it on this breakdown. So what I saw was price came into that demand area. And what it did was took it out. So, okay, interesting. Now I've had a bunch of inducements. We've had SMC trap, inducement number 1, and fake build up, inducement number 2. Now we have to be careful that we don't just buy a falling knife. That's pretty dangerous. So we need confirmation. So if I've seen manipulations now, if I see my time-based confirmation, my London window entry model, then I'll enter. And that's the model I was looking for, which I drew out. That would be my preferred model. That's what I mentioned on Twitter. And this is the purple roadmap. So the green one and the blue one failed because the green and blue assumed we wouldn't take out that zone. If I go back to it, you'll see. The green and blue was respecting the zone. The purple was taking out the zone. So the purple one is played, it's taken out the zone right here. It's taken out this blue box, took it out a bit lower than I thought. And I want to see, is price going to come to this area? Because there's a demand area right below. I won't show it now, but it's a demand area. If it goes there, even better, but not a requirement because inducements take priority over demand areas, over POIs. Inducements first. Let's see. Okay, price is just shy of my zone. Oh, London Open. Okay, this is when I've given the signal. I said, I'm waiting for this. And there's my entry based on that order block area. I just need to get a 2-leg protocol. 1 leg, 2-leg entry. So I'm not just going to enter on this because that's the thing I don't like. But if I get a 2-leg, then I'll take the trade. And there we go. Invalidation. I pre-called it. This is my invalidation point. I said it here ahead of time. If price comes here, it's invalid for me. So then I probably gave an update. And I said, yep, great reaction, but now it's in our invalidation zone. If we get a clear break of structure and a nice retracement, we can look to buy. But for now, there's nothing. We're just monitoring. So back to monitoring. Goes without saying, prices come to the supply zone, so I'm no longer taking the trade, the original signal. So I gave a signal and then I updated it on why it's not a signal. And I pre-called it. Because I gave my invalidation box. So I'm giving everything, my full explanations and the reasons I will and the reasons I won't. And then let's give a summary of what happened. So long story short, price did give that clear BOS I wanted right here. Now, once I've had the BOS, I'm saying, okay, we can buy off here. That's what I explained. So then my limits went from invalidation to back to active because I mentioned if I get a clear BOS, I will take the trade. We're in my London window, but it looks like price didn't want to come back for me. So is what it is. It reached my first partial point already, just without me. And there we go. Second partial of full TP, just about to hit it. So it happens. I gave a signal and it just missed. full TP met. But look, an analysis, trader, two different things. The analysis side was correct. We said the purple roadmap, we wanted to take out the POI, time-based entry. We wanted to go for that trend line liquidity. We wanted to take the smart money trap out. Did that smart money trap present? Yes. Gave them a small reaction here and then took them out and then targeting that supply zone. That was the trade idea. Called it ahead of time, built the roadmap. The only thing that was missing was my entry criteria. So on these kind of days, it happens. So I gave a summary and I said, ahead of time, these were my roadmaps. Final analysis was that. We got the reaction and then final TP. And it's just one of those days. So conclusion, signal 34 in the books. In the end, there was no trade. So 9 weeks of public signals, 40%. That's where we kind of concluded. I had my buy limit. It took off without me. Limit still. I couldn't get in, unfortunately, but we can see price did what we wanted it to do. So we were correct in our bias. It just didn't meet our entry criteria. So it is what it is. And by the way, the thing I said of people are watching, it's not like I can fake this, because when I post these trades and I post these signals, a lot of people watch. So if I was deleting posts and if I was manipulating things or editing tweets, it would say edited. It doesn't say edited. And none of my tweets say edited. And I'm sure out of 50,000, 100,000 people, if I was messing around, if I was faking it, if I was, deleting tweets or posting it too late, people would have called me out. But the contrary, people are showing they're taking the trades with me. If you check all the comments. So yeah, this one led to a mistrade. But remember I said this, if we can get a daily cycle variant where we get the New York reversal, I can still take that. So let's see if that presents in our time window. So I'll just wait for my New York window to see if there's anything. So I'm just going to let London play, but it looks like price is flying. It has no interest in slowing down. So this 1 to 10 looks like a lot more. So also just for the sake of limiting beliefs and everything for now, until we get to New York, which is closely approaching, this whole idea of like M1 timeframe is not possible. I think it's not just possible or more than possible, it's necessary, because this will show you when a higher timeframe POI is going to invalidate. This is going to show you when there's a trap. This is going to show you who's in control. M1 is the most necessary thing, in my opinion. You just need to know how to do it. And it's like saying, you can watch a movie in 360p, low HD. You're watching the movie. You're still seeing it. But you can also watch it in Ultra 4K HD. I see M1 as the Ultra 4K HD, and I see the M15 or H1 as the 360p. You're still watching the same movie, but I'm watching the movie in a lot more detail. And that's why I do think it's better. It's not needed. You'll still get the movie on M15, but I'd rather see it on M1 with true details. But anyway, so now we're seeing our New York window approaching, and I want to see if there's anything for me. Let me just delete that roadmap or move it to the side for now. And let's see if there's anything for us. So we're approaching our New York window. I want to see what happens when it gets to our key time window. Okay, so right now, there's nothing. It's higher high, higher low, respecting that demand, going on to make a high high. We don't want to be selling when we're clearly bullish. Oh, okay, now I've got something. Cool. Now I've seen build up of liquidity, that trend line liquidity. Then we had over here an inducement with a reaction, and then that reaction led to a final inducement. So that was probably a smart money trap right here. Let's call it a SMT, smart money trap. So we had build up, equal highs, trend line liquidity, smart money run of liquidity, reaction, main inducement. So I've seen a main inducement now with a bearish break of structure, time window approaching. So I might be looking to take a trade. But when I get into the zone, I'm thinking, well, I need a fair value gap. I need an order block. I need something. And right now I have nothing. I just have a wick. So, and I have no imbalance in here. So for that reason, it's an invalidation. Even though I've seen the manipulation, even though I've seen the daily cycle variant that I drew out for you, even though I've got the time window, I've got everything. I just don't have the entry criteria. So therefore, we walk away. Analyst, trader, two different things. And let's see what happens. Because on the flip side, this could also be, just to run the argument, this could be a build-up of liquidity. This could be the inducement, and we could go higher. And I wouldn't be surprised because we are clearly bullish for the session and bullish for the day. Whoops. We've had a bullish day. We've had a strong buy, and we are taking liquidity. So it's good. So let's see. I don't know, but right now it could be bearish, but it hasn't met my criteria. If it met my entry criteria, I would sell. It makes enough sense to me, but it hasn't met my criteria. Okay, in the end, it did what we just said. This was the inducement. We took them out, and we're approaching our time window. Let's see if there's anything in that time window. Okay, time window active. I don't see anything. I don't see a break of structure. I don't see a manipulation. I don't see anything. I've just seen manipulation low, bullish push out, higher high, and probably price is going to just slowly trend down to this demand area. And then maybe continue higher. I don't know. So that's kind of the final thought. It's a Friday. It's the end of the day. The main trade of the day was the London one. We've had a strong bullish push out. So I'm not going to chase anything, but let's just see. Okay, price is coming in, taps into that demand. No entry criteria, no nothing. And then I'm done for the week. And then we just let the session close out. So no sell, no buy position there for me. So in the end, that trade, which was a monster trade. At the highs, it was like a 1 to 25 or something. Yeah, 1 to 22. It's just a missed trade. So when we look back at our week, which I've covered now, every single candle on M1, full walkthrough from Monday to Friday. I've shown the trades I took. I've given the signals I took. I've shown my MT4. I've shown my trades out at the back end, the executions I took. So in the end, I had a win on EU and GU signals that netted me 13%. Then I had a break-even trade over here, no loss, no gain, and then a missed trade. So that was just a typical week. I've done this now on Twitter for 9 weeks. As of this week, 10 weeks. I gave a signal yesterday, which was a loss. So if anybody wants to kind of see how I trade and more details, just scroll. Everything's there for the last 2-3 months. Every single trade, every single idea, every single signal, it's all there. It's all I post. So you'll get to see all of my trade breakdowns. And there's another signal. I don't know what happened here. Okay, this signal played out. But again, it's just signal after signal, all ahead of time with all my analysis and so forth. So yeah, I'll leave it there, but it's a full 1 week price action walkthrough. But this was not like a cherry picked week. It was just last week. Right now we're filming on a weekday, so it's the last week. But if I wanted to do the last 10 weeks of price action of signals, I also could defend my trades just as I have done this week. So hopefully that was useful, Cam.
Oh, it was invaluable. I think anyone who watches this is going to be mind blown in terms of getting a full understanding of how price actually works. I think is really what it is. It's not more than just, smart money traps. It's very much how price actually works. And I just really, it's a pleasure having you on, and so great that you're happy to share this stuff with everyone watching. Tell them how to find out more about you. What's your Twitter handle, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so my Twitter was on the screen. It's just my name, WaqarAsim10. Twitter has a lot of fun stuff. It has signals and day-to-day analysis, but where I really put effort into my breakdowns and really give lessons is on my YouTube. My YouTube channel, I'm breaking down what is a smart money trap, doing case study after case study, breaking down all of my signals like I have done today. I do it on my channel too. So I have walkthroughs just like today. I've got a bunch of videos like that. So if you want to really learn from me, it's all there on my YouTube channel. And that's probably all you'll really need, my YouTube channel and Twitter.
Brilliant. And all those links will be hooked up on the show notes page, links under the video here, folks. And if whilst you're clicking around down there, hit subscribe, like, and that notifications bell. And if you want to catch his full interview, then click the video up here.